Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we will review the 2014 film Convict. Please be reminded that there may be spoilers ahead. The story begins in a tranquil neighborhood, where a soldier called Ray Francis returns home after many years. He's been waiting for this opportunity to reconcile with his girlfriend Kelly and begin a new life together. Ray can't wait any longer at a tranquil park, where the leaves are softly rustling. He kneels down and begs Kelly to marry him, full of joy and hope. They are both really pleased to commemorate this momentous occasion. But just as they are about to leave, a group of boisterous young men begin pestering Kelly, destroying their bliss. Ray moves immediately to defend Kelly. He can't stand by while she is harassed. During the pandemonium, a fight breaks out. Suddenly, one of the young men gets harmed and falls to the ground after being struck by a sharp instrument during the conflict. Ray is brought to court within a few days. He is currently facing serious charges. Even though he was protecting Kelly and himself, he received a harsh penalty. However, because he confessed and demonstrated remorse, his sentence was reduced, and he was given early release. Ray is in for more problems, however. The young man who died was the son of Harvey, a key government official. Harvey, enraged and saddened, uses his position and money to exact revenge. He bribes Jack, the warden of the prison where Ray is, to make Ray's life unpleasant. In prison, Ray rapidly becomes a target. Rico, a cruel warden, dislikes Ray from the start and seeks out every opportunity to injure him. Ray also encounters opposition from other inmates, particularly a gang lead by a man named Mason, who wields significant power within the institution. Things become quite tense, but fortunately, another warden called William intervenes to break up the brawl before it escalates. Ray discovered tranquility while working at the jail library over the course of several weeks. There, he met David, an older inmate who also managed the library. Despite Mason's group's taunts, Ray found refuge in this place. Ray remained calm and did not let them worry him. But Rico planned to make Ray's life even more difficult. He searched through Ray's personal belongings, mishandled photos of Kelly to anger him. Even in the restroom, Ray couldn't relax. Ray fought back when one inmate tried to meddle with him. Unfortunately, this simply resulted in additional penalties. Ray gradually recognized that all of these problems were not random. Jack, the prison's leader, was responsible for everything. Jack had created an environment in which justice did not exist and cruelty was commonplace. Ray found himself caught in a loop of violence and agony, with Jack pulling the strings. Ray sat down for lunch with David and a young man who appeared too young to be in jail. Their conversation was shifted to the library because other prisoners were making a commotion. There, David told his story. About 15 years ago, he and his younger brother looted a store and killed someone. David was apprehended, but his brother died. David had carefully hidden the stolen money, and no one ever recovered it. Kelly paid Ray a surprise visit, which made him very thrilled. He didn't anticipate her, so seeing her brightened his day. However, Rico was also present, attempting to irritate Ray. Despite the challenge, Ray remained calm because Kelly was present. Soon after, the young inmate ran into problems. Other convicts began picking on him, but Ray intervened to stop them. Williams, another warden, arrived later to help keep the situation under control. All of the anxiety was getting to Ray. Ray's rage rose, and when another individual attacked him, he retaliated fiercely. Rico always seemed to turn up when Ray was in danger. Rico returned this time with Jack. Jack, who had been bribed to hurt Ray, took a stick and beat him severely. Following that, Rico and his group convened in a room. They discussed how the senior warden didn't want to be a part of their bad behavior and decided to stand back to avoid further difficulties. Williams, who had always suspected there was something wrong with Rico and his buddy's treatment of Ray, likewise wished to remain out of it. He was an honest senior warden who warned his coworkers not to follow Rico blindly. Despite this warning, they met with Jack, who was plotting something fresh. Rico and his friends discovered a knife while checking a prisoner's room. Later, when cleaning the bathrooms, the prisoner discovered Rico had used the knife to kill the top warden, making it appear as if the prisoner had done it. Meanwhile, David paid Ray a visit. They had grown apart, but David now understands Ray better. Ray, famed for his bravery in war, regarded his time in prison as an opportunity to atone for the death of a young, innocent person he had caused previously. Ray and David's blossoming closeness irritated Mason and his crew. They didn't like Ray due of their friendship. Things grew worse when Mason and his friends attacked someone in the shower and attempted to blame Ray's group. However, Ray had nothing to do with it and attempted to clear their names, demonstrating Mason's group's responsibility. Kelly returned to see Ray, but Rico and his guys subjected her to an inappropriate check, ordering her to remove her clothes. This was intended to screw with Ray's head and break him down. Mason collaborated with Rico and his gang on this strategy. They planned to get rid of David and Kelly soon so Ray would become enraged and lash out. Ray felt absolutely heartbroken as a result of all these dreadful events. He spent his time alone, unable to cope with the continual tension. It felt like an unending nightmare. When Williams eventually got him out, he wanted to know what had happened. But Ray, having lost trust in everything, couldn't talk about it and remained silent, refusing to give Williams any information. The next day, Ray resumed his normal jail activities. But he quickly discovered that Mason had attempted to persuade the young inmate to kill him. When the young man didn't do it, Mason injured himself instead. Hearing this enraged Ray. The next day, Mason's crew confronted Ray and demanded explanations. Ray's military background allowed him to assess their fighting abilities and be certain that he could defeat them. He quickly put Mason on the back foot. Ray was so angry that he considered killing Mason. But David gave him a glance that said otherwise. Suddenly, David, who was clutching Ray, swung around to shield him. Mason had gotten back up and attempted to stab Ray from behind. However, David's quick reflexes saved Ray. Following this, Williams took Ray, who was still handcuffed, into Jack's room to speak with him. During their talk, Jack explained why he did what he did and how much he was paid. But Jack was unaware that Ray was recording everything he said. This allowed Williams to quickly arrest Jack and his two buddies, implicating them in the bribery scam. Meanwhile, David was in grave shape from his stab wound. He considered Ray as a trustworthy buddy and made him pledge to take the hidden stolen money and present it to his daughter. Kelly was there when Ray was finally released, having missed him so much. Following David's instructions, they immediately delivered his letter and the cash to his daughter. In the end, Williams welcomes a new prisoner, Harvey. He was the major boss who coordinated the entire chaotic affair. Finally, the film comes to a close. Thank you for watching. If you're new, be sure to subscribe for more of these recaps. Enjoy your day until next time.